What's up guys, Jim Collector back again with another unboxing and review, and today we're checking out the 1978 Japanese Spider-Man that I recently picked up on my trip to Japan, of all places, right? Perfect timing for a release for this kind of a figure. But guys, without further ado, let's get stuck right into the unboxing. Alright then, so here we have the box, and I just love the artwork that they've gone through on this. So as I said in the intro, I've never watched the 1978 Japanese TV show of this Spider-Man. I've heard it's crazy. I've heard there's basically a Megazord involved in this as well, which sounds very interesting. But I did have the 1978 American film on VHS way back in the day, so we're talking a long time ago. I remember being super excited for the new Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and my parents bought me the American one on VHS, and I remember I loved it at the time. I've rewatched it since, and it is very, very dated, but it's 1977, what can you expect? But anyway, we're back to this. So obviously I was recently in Japan, and I had to, of course, pick this up as the perfect kind of Hot Toys collector souvenir. Why not? So let's get stuck in. So it is a Hot Toys exclusive, and it has the Japanese name for Spider-Man up here as well, and has really nicely gold kind of embossed bits down here as well, which is good to see. Now this is a limited item. I'm not sure how many. I want to say 1,500. I heard it sold out quite quickly in Hong Kong, but in Japan at Toy Sapiens, where I got this from, there was still a fair few left, like a couple days after release, so that's good for me. Around the side you got pictures of the figure, Spider-Man down here, and more of that Japanese logo. All of the who did what's, all the different kind of stores as well, with the newest one, Powergate, there in the middle, and of course you have the Disney branding, which is fun. And then you got more pictures of the figure here, and more of that awesome branding there. So let's open this up and let's see what this is all about. I've seen a couple of reviews of this already. Those reviews actually made me more excited than I initially was to check this figure out. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun to pose and mess around with, so that's exciting. It's a really solid cardboard box on this as well. I think just because it doesn't have any sort of protective tray, is just this one. There we go. Almost tempting to leave him in here just to display it like this, but we have to keep him on display. All right then, so here's our first look at all the different bits and bobs. It does come with quite a fair amount of hands. So we have this first tray here. There we go. This is our first tray of hands right here. They're sculpted and painted quite nicely. The first thing I notice is how vibrant the red is on these. Very, very vibrant. The okay, so the sculpt work on this, the actual, like the black painted bits are inlay, so they're like indented in, they're not just painted on top, so it has a bit of texture into it, which is nice. They are a softer mold, as we see a lot now with these hands, which is good because they're less breakable, and it, when you're posing it around as well, it just kind of gives you a bit more leg room. But very nice, very well done. Same for all these hands. I'm not going to go through them all individually. We do have, of course, Spider-Man just under here. Crack this open. Oh man, one of my hands went crazy. And there we go. Since we're on hands, let's finish those off and check out all of these, because you get some really interesting Spider-Man hands with this one. You get some kind of, okay, so these two here, these two make sense because these are like crawling hands, which I really like that they've included that, so that's cool. So if we can get him in a crawling pose, these will look super natural. And then you get these two here as well, which is kind of do his signature pose that I've seen a lot, where he kind of crosses his arms a bit like that. So that's quite cool to see. So, God, so Japanese. It's just, I love it. It's so interesting. Very retro as well. Right, we do have our web pieces here, like this one, which is fully posable as well. So you can kind of do what you want with this, which is pretty nice. I like that. Now, this is actually the first Spider-Man figure that I've ever owned from Hot Toys, so I don't know if they're all like this, but I like to see it. It's really sculpted nicely as well. It does have that kind of web rope-like look to it. As you can see here, it's not just a straight line, it's all kind of knotted and tangled and stuff like that. You do get this one as well, which is also bendable, although I imagine you'd have it probably more in a straight line or maybe kind of wrapped like that. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, I'm liking these so far. And then the last one, again, fully posable, just like the other. So you get the 3 different web effects. So that's pretty decent. Right, next, of course, we do have the Spider-Man himself. And he is really, really awesome. Look at this. I actually really like this suit. It's very classic Spider-Man. I like the logo on the front. Really dig this logo on the back as well. This is like some sort of rubbery thing on here. So my only worry is that this might degrade or peel off from the suit over time. Time will tell, I guess. Time will tell. But it's the only thing on this suit that I think's slightly worrying. Same for the spider logo on here. Super shiny silver on those eyes. Look at the shape of them as well. And in fact, everything about this looks so much like a guy in a suit. Just the shape of the head, the way it sits on there and everything. It just must capture the film quite nicely. Let's take these plastic bits off. All right then, there we go. So we've got all the plastic and such off of him now, cleared up our background a little bit. And first of all, we're gonna check posability. So we've had a quick look at the suit. Now, the suit itself actually is just kind of a, I wanna say nylon, but it's a fabric material, you know, it's not anything that should degrade, which means we should be able to pose this guy up, leave it, and the suit should be, you know, none the worse for it. So that's really exciting. Now in terms of posability, you've got nice solid ratchets in those shoulders, so you can get the arms pretty high up there, which is really good. Arms pretty much go all the way up. You could probably get them to go around, but there is stitching there that you do want to be slightly careful of. All the way back, you do of course have a solid double bend on that elbow. You have a tiny bit of ab crunch. Okay, you have some ab crunch. It's not as much as I thought it will be. You can kind of extend to about there-ish. I don't think I'd want to push it much further than that. It's like a fully plastic body in here. 3 sections. It has this top section, middle section, and this bottom section here that kind of connects into the hips. From what I can feel, it's weird because you can feel more of the body here. There's not much of a fat suit going on. It's almost just a straight figure. Legs, more ratchet joints. You can pretty much do these splits, which is really fun to see. The joints are nice and sturdy, but easy to move. I like that. Solid double bend there as well. There even is a bend in the toe, and they have a split in the boot like that. That's really cool. That's a really good design, actually. I like to see that they've done that because that really helps with posability. As for the ankles, you get a good amount of side to side motion, as well as a good amount of kind of, you know, up and down like so. So you can probably pretty much pose him as much as you want. Leg will go up to about here before it gets blocked by the hips. So you can do a fair amount with that as well, which is good to see. So we're probably gonna have some fun posing this guy up. One thing I love about this version of Spider-Man is this little bracelet here. So supposedly this is what is kind of in his suit. Sorry, the suit is stored in here, and I think he uses this to call his Megazord. I'm gonna call it a Megazord. Power Rangers, that's just how I think of those things, but this is really nicely done. The way this is painted, when you get a light on it, it almost looks like it's lit up. It's not, that is just probably a sticker in there, but it's done really well. Nice clasping motion, has a really nice silver metallic look to it as well, and it's just super retro. I really actually like it with that displayed on there. A few more details in the suit. The colors are really, really vibrant. I'm not sure if this camera is really doing it justice, but trust me, this is gonna it's just gonna pop on the shelf. It looks fantastic. It's like an electric blue, nice punchy red as well, and I really love the webbing throughout. The best thing as well is there isn't that seam line on the neck because it's all one full suit. The head doesn't disconnect or anything like that. You do get some movement through the head, but the head joint on my one feels super stiff, so you can get his head up to about there. You can dip down quite nicely as well. You can twist it side to side like so, but the joint on it is pretty stiff. His neck does move as well. It's really funny because you can feel his nose here. I'd actually probably be careful of pushing on his nose in case that you cause some damage to the suit. So I'd probably grip it side to side, but yeah, so you get some movement through there as well. Right. There you go. Really like this, the display base in this. This really takes me back to even the older cartoon and the games back on the PS1 day. This really gives me the vibes of the Spider-Man games back on the PlayStation 1. They were fantastic times. Really like its base, nice and shiny as well. And I believe there should somewhere be, yeah, there it is. So in the instructions here, if I open this, we get this as well, which is like a placard that you put just in front. It is just kind of laminated plastic, so it's not anything special. It has this kind of 3D effect to it, so I'll see how it looks on display, and I'll probably actually use this for a bit of fun, but it is kind of cheap plastic. It would have been nice to have more of a solid like placard, I think, or something just already attached to the base with this kind of similar material, but we'll have a look and see how that looks. So I'm excited for that. The only other things you get is, of course, a waist grabber, and then you get your trusty flight pole in here as well to do some web swinging awesome poses. All right guys, that ends the unboxing part of the video. What we can do now is we're going to get this guy displayed up, and we'll chuck him into a few poses and then give you my final thoughts. Catch you in a sec. And here he is, Mr. Red and Blue, all set up and out of the box. And even just standing here, I'm really enjoying this figure now. And it's not just because it's a good souvenir for me that I picked up, but just for a figure piece and design perspective, it's actually a really nice design. I love the way the reds and the blues pop, the line work, the kind of saturated coloration of it. I like how black those lines are. It looks like almost animated in certain aspects there, and I really like the material that they've chosen for the suit. It definitely does kind of give off a man in a suit vibe, which fits the show, I think, really well. I think it looks really good. Does look a bit harsh coming to the plastic hands, but overall really nice. I love his wrist gadget. Sorry, I don't know what it's actually called, but it really offsets the figure nicely. It has a really cool kind of retro feel, so it doesn't really fit in with Spider-Man, but it fits in really nicely with this figure. And again, just the detail of the piece throughout. I really like the spider symbol on the back and on the chest as well. It just gives me nice classic Spider-Man vibes, for lack of a better word. It just looks really nicely done, and I like how they've done the stitching as well. It's a bit visible in certain places. You'll see it on the head sculpt right here. There is some visible stitching. I like the silver eye pieces as well, and again you can see some of that stitching on the back of his head here, but it doesn't really throw it off too much. It does feel like a campy Spider-Man suit, but it really works well for me. The head is an interesting shape, but I think they've done that quite nicely as well as a head in a suit as well. So I think they've done a bang up job, and it just looks really nice standing up and down. I like how the silver on the wrist contrasts with the red and blue throughout, and just the coloration on it is really nicely done. Okay, so moving on to a bit of a dynamic pose now, and I was really excited to see if I could kind of pull off a wall crawler or superhero landing type pose, and with this figure it is super easy. I mean, that's largely because of the material that this suit is made of. It is a fabric suit. It's not any sort of like rubberized or any sort of material, so there's a lot less restriction, but a lot of it also comes down to the overall design of this piece. And I think because it's an older suit, I think the less realism on the toe box, I think it kind of works well with this, but I do wish Hot Toys would do it more. And you've got good ankle articulation here, which really lends to the pose. You see the way the ankle bends to the side, and although the shoe looks a bit funky, the toe movement as well really helps to pull off these poses. I would like to see, honestly, toe articulation on more figures. It really helps Obviously it's a fabric, so it makes it a little bit nicer. The wall crawling hands as well really lend themselves to this figure. It just came out really, really well, and I love that you can pull off a pose like this. Keeping things dynamic, and I've gone for a web slinging pose, or at least my interpretation of a web slinging pose, and I'm relatively happy with this. I'm not gonna lie, it might not be how I display it in all honesty. My only concern is any sort of kind of color transference from the waist grabber here onto the blue suit. That is a potential issue. The suit could also get a bit damaged there with the constant friction all the time, but all in all, I think this is a nice enough pose. You can get the legs posed up really well. It does look great here as well. You see the webs kind of going off screen. In person, you'd need to attach one of the webs to something to actually look like he's swinging from something, because it's kind of just in the air and it looks a bit funky. But all in all, I really do like this pose, and so far I'm having a blast just kind of trying out different poses with this figure. And as promised, here is that kind of Spider-Man logo that they've included. Very cheap, very plastic, very malleable. It looks not terrible when looking further away from it, but up close it does look cheap. All right, no hanging around on this one. We're gonna go straight into a rating. Now, if I'm being completely honest, this isn't the kind of figure that will be everyone's kind of most highly rated figure, but just for the figure itself, I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. I had no issues with this figure at all. I think it is a really good representation of the 1977 Spider-Man, 1978. Again, granted, I haven't seen that show, but I have looked at clips and I have looked at promotional material, and I think this is a really good representation of that character. I can't see any flaws. Mobility, posability is really good as well. I think shelf presence, he definitely has it. I like the Spider-Man design as well, and the gripe a lot of people have with a lot of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans and similar ones is that you can't pose them as you'd want to. Spider-Man's quite a dynamic character. You don't have that issue with this at all. Again, there are seam lines visible, but it just looks like part of the suit for me. I don't know if that's just myself. Some people that could rub them the wrong way, but personally, I think it looks really good. So yeah, this is gonna get a 10 out of 10 from me, just because I can't see any issues with it, and I can't really think of anywhere that it could really improve other than maybe a light up system for his wrist piece, but I don't feel like I really need that, and then you'd have to hide the wire away. So guys, that is it. So a 10 out of 10 for the Japanese Spider-Man. Thanks for sticking around to the end if you managed so, and I should have more reviews coming up soon. So guys, stay tuned, drop a like, drop a follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you in a video again soon. Peace out.